final report for just super cool people for our question generation and answering machine. For question generation, these are the steps that we took. We used the tools and libraries as follows: the NLTK library, the Stanford POS tagger, NER tagger, and WHEN tagger from the Stanford Core NLP library. First, we pre-processed the input. Then, we loaded each individual sentence, pre-processed any further info, and then we processed them into questions. For the pre-processing, we started off by tokenizing each sentence with the NLT tokenizer. We tagged each sentence using the NER, POS, and WHEN tagger. Then, for each question, we generate any possible questions. The possible questions that we looked at were why, who, yes/no questions, where, when, and what. For what questions, we looked at the noun or verb tags in the sentence. If we found one, we added what along with the verb and then all subsequent words to the end of the sentence or until we hit another noun. For who questions, once we found a verb, we made sure that the question started with who, then the verb, then all subsequent words until we hit another NER subject or until the sentence ended. For example, Joe ran the marathon quickly would become who ran the marathon quickly. For when questions, we searched for more explicit combinations. For example, if a person had a modal or verb or a past tense verb followed by a present participle, then the question was created and words were added till the end. For the yes and no questions, we searched for words like is or where. We moved those to the front, or we also used the word did. Then we appended the rest of the sentence and returned it as a question. For example, Julia is sick became is Julia sick. For where questions, we looked for two different kinds of sentences, one with the subject first, another with the location first. We also wanted to track the relevant part of the sentence until each verb or location was found. Then we used the relevant part along with the verb to return an appropriately worded question.
Okay.
Finally, for why, if the sentence contained a relevant word like because or since, and then we looked at the location of the subject, the verb, and the determinant, and we found out that were before the reason part of the sentence, then the location are used to parse the verb and the action, prefacing it with a why.
Okay, so for answer generation, we use much of the same libraries, but a couple of different ones. So these included NLTK Porter Stemmer, Stanford POS Tagger, Stanford Parser, Stanford Dependency Parser, and Timex. So pre-processing of the question document and the source document was pretty simple. So for a question document, we just split the lines and add the questions to a list. And for the source document, we lemmatize the whole thing and then keep track of the occurrences of each word using a dictionary. So the second step is finding the best fit sentence for each question. So for each question, we rank all the sentences in the source document by summing up the reciprocal of the number of occurrences for each word in the sentence, if that particular word appears in the question. In this way, a less frequent word that appears in both the sentence and the question will increase the rank of that sentence more significantly. Then we pick the sentence with the highest rank and store it in the list as a best fit sentence for this question. So to actually generate answers from the best fit sentences, we have to parse each question to find out which type of question it is and then transform the corresponding best fit sentence to the format. So for what and which sentences, we just return the original best fit sentences without any modification. But for a question type like why, we have to strip the sentence down to the core verbs, nouns, and adjectives, and then add to the beginning because of if it is a noun phrase, or to if it's a verb phrase. For who type questions, we find all the words with the POS tag person and then join them with the conjunction and. If no word with the person POS tag is found, we just return the original best fit sentence. So for an example with the question, who went to the store, and the source document containing the question, Pavi and Gina went to the store, we transform the best fit sentence to Pavi and Gina. And for when questions, we just tag the best fit sentence using timex and then return the tagged time expressions. For where questions, we find all the words with the NER tag GPE, geopolitical entity, join them with and if no word with the GPE NER tag is found, we return the original best fit sentence. So for a question like where did Pavi drive, and the source document containing the sentence Pavi drove to Washington, the transformed best fit sentence would just be Washington. And finally, for yes or no questions, we first find the noun and adjective tags in the question. Then, if the nouns and verbs recognized in the sentence from that question are below a proportion, which is currently 1/3, or if there's a negation word in the sentence, we return no. Otherwise, we return yes. So that is basically it. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.